In my hour of need, I truly am indeed alone again, naturally. Hey, it's Nate with another piano tutorial. Today I'm doing Alone Again Naturally by Gilbert O'Sullivan. This one was a request. It's a beautiful song, though really sad. The chord progression is super cool. Harmonically, it almost sounds more like a jazz standard than a pop song. So it's full of those sophisticated, extended, jazzy chords. Definitely not my easiest tutorial, but the rhythm stays steady throughout. It's just a matter of memorizing a bunch of chord shapes. Anyway, I've really enjoyed playing it. I think you will too. Let's jump in. Okay, so first off, I recommend you get the chords and lyrics chart. There's a link down in the description. You can print it out, follow along, see where the chords and the lyrics line up with each other. And I mentioned it's the same rhythm throughout the song, so let's actually start by learning that. We can learn it on an F sharp major 7 chord, which happens to be the first chord we play in this song. So to do that, I'm going to use my left hand pinky to play an F sharp note down here. This is middle C here, so we're like almost 2 octaves lower there. And then the right hand is just going to do an A sharp, a C sharp, and an F, using 1, 2, 5 for the fingers, just like that. Now we're in 4/4 time, so every measure in the song is going to get 4 counts, thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to be playing the right hand on quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could do the whole song like that. It'd sound really good. There's a little more rhythm coming from the left hand. It's going to sound like this. So we're dividing the beat in half, thinking in eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're hitting on the and after 2 and the and after 4. So those are going to be between the right hand quarter notes. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1. So just spend a little time looping that, getting the hang of it. And then to really get the vibe, the second and fourth quarter notes in the right hand can be a little bit more staccato, a little bit more short there, but that's optional. Okay, so let's start off with the intro. Here's the chords for that. We've already got that F sharp major 7 chord. And then in that same measure, we're going to step the top note down to a D sharp. We can use our third finger for that. So F sharp major 7 to F sharp 6th. And because the measure has 2 chords evenly divided, it's going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4. Next measure is kind of similar. They're A sharp chords, so the left hand bass note can move up to an A sharp here. And in terms of the right hand, we just got to step our thumb down to a G sharp while keeping that C sharp and F we had from the F sharp major 7. And then yet again, we step that top note down to the D sharp. So far we've got we've got this G sharp minor 7. Going to use my fourth finger here on a G sharp bass note. And the right hand is going to be F sharp, B, and D sharp. And that's going to be for 2 counts. So the little dash represents a second count of that because there are 3 chords here. On the third count, we're going to go to a C sharp 7 flat 9. And so that's going to be a C sharp here with our thumb, and then all white keys actually in the right hand, F, B, and D, and that's for count 3. Now to change it just to the C sharp 7, we're going to drop the D down to the C sharp there. So the whole measure is going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then finally, we're going to land on just an F sharp major chord. It's an inversion here. So back to that F sharp bass note, and then the right hand's going to do A sharp, C sharp, and F sharp there. Before I play it through, I want to mention one extra detail that happens in the first 2 measures. So on the final 4th count of each of those measures, both times we've ended up with the right hand doing this. Just on that last count, I'm going to let go of the D sharp. So we kind of get this melody that's like da 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 da. So the whole line is going to sound like this. that is where the first verse would start. In a little while from now. So here's the chords for the verse, at least the first half of the verse. The verses are very long, and I sort of think of it in two chunks. So these first two lines is the first chunk. You'll notice it starts off, at least the first two measures, doing what we were just doing at the beginning of the intro, just with words. So, in a little while from now. And you can do the little melody thing, but that's optional if it's just too much to think about while singing. If I'm not feeling any less sour. Okay, so now we got this C sharp minor 7. It's gonna look like that. So we're gonna come up to the C sharp with our thumb, of course, and then right hand's gonna be doing G sharp, B, and E there. And that's a whole measure on I promise myself to treat myself, and A sharp minor 7 flat 5. So to get here, we only need to change one thing in the right hand, and that's instead of the B, we're gonna do a C sharp with our middle finger, and of course the left hand's gonna go down to this A sharp here, and that's gonna be for 2 counts, and then to finish it off, it's gonna sound like this. So it's pretty smooth from this A sharp minor 7 flat 5. We're gonna go all the way down here to a D sharp for this D sharp 7 flat 5, and we're gonna keep the top 2 notes, and we're gonna add a G and an A sharp. That's just for 1 count, because then we go to just a D sharp 7. So we're gonna drop that to the D sharp. Again, that measure, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, next we've got a G sharp minor 7, which we already did in the intro. So that's gonna be for 1 measure on and climbing to the top. So G sharp minor 7 flat 5. Let's take the 5th and flat it. So D is the top note with the pinky there. I will throw myself off. Now we've got this F sharp major chord. We can do it just like the F sharp at the end of the intro. In an F for 2. So just for 2 counts, first half, because the second half of that measure has an F sharp augmented. Only thing that needs to change is the C sharp becomes a D for 2. And we're just gonna kind of continue that pattern. The next chord is an F sharp 6, although we are voicing it differently than the other F sharp 6. So we're just gonna, instead of that D, we're doing the D sharp there, keeping everything else the same, and then down to this F7. So you can just kind of hop the pinky down there, and it's gonna be A, C, and D sharp. I'm gonna play and sing that whole first section of the verse once, nice and slow. In a little while from now, if I'm not feeling any less sour, I promise myself to treat myself and visit a nearby tower and climb into the top. Will throw myself off in an effort to make it clear to whoever what it's like when you're shattered left stand. So that would be going into the second part. And I just want to say, I know this is really dense, and if you're trying to sort of play along and I'm still going too fast, you can take the little settings wheel on YouTube and slow down the playback speed to like 50% or even slower. That might be helpful. So here's the 2 lines that form the second half of the verses. So it's going to start on the A sharp minor 7, the same one we've done a few times so far. Left standing in the lurch at a... So just a regular C sharp minor here. So we're gonna come up to the C sharp bass note. The only thing that needs to change in the right hand is the F is gonna come down to an E. At a church where people... Now here's that same little D sharp 7 flat 9 down to D sharp 7 saying. So just like we did in the first half of the verse. Second half of this line is familiar. It's just a G sharp minor 7 to the minor 7 flat 5. That's going to be, my God, that's tough. She stood him up. No point in us remaining. Next little bit is familiar, just like the intro for may as well go home as I did on my, but this D sharp 9 is new. So we're gonna keep our pinky all the way up here on the F, of course, go down to a D sharp bass note. We're also keeping the C sharp. This is the chord here. We got a G and an A sharp there, and of course the C sharp. And the F. And then you might recognize these last two measures from the last two measures of the intro. And it's going to be alone again, naturally. So it says F sharp 6 here. We did just the F sharp straight up at the end of the intro, but sometimes you can hear a little bit of a glimmer of the 6 there, so I might just kind of sneak it in there. So that was a lot, but the good news is that is most of the song. The only thing that's different is the bridge. So I'm just going to sing through that whole first verse, and then we can learn the bridge. And then there's just a little variation right at the end of the song, and we'll be good to go. Actually, I'm going to sing the lyrics to the second verse. So the first two verses are the exact same structurally and melodically. It's just different words. So here's the second verse, and I'll go a little bit slow. To think that only yesterday I was cheerful, bright, and gay, looking forward to, but who wouldn't do the role I was about to play. But as if to knock me down, reality came around, and without so much as a mere touch, cut me into little pieces, leaving me to doubt. Talk about God and His mercy, who, if He really does exist, why did He desert me in my hour of need? I truly am indeed alone again, naturally. So that would be leading right into the bridge. It seems to me that there... So here's the bridge chords. The bridge starts off with a nice simple A major triad. So just A, C sharp, and E. I'm using my second finger in the left hand so that my pinky is ready to just go down to the E for the E7. And for the right hand, I'm doing G sharp, B, and D. 1, 2, 5 for the fingers there. Now we've got this G sharp minor 7 flat 5. So we've already had that. So that's with the F sharp, B, and D there. And then it goes to that same C sharp 7 flat 9 that we were doing throughout. But this time, interestingly, it doesn't drop that down like it has every other time. You can just stay on that for 2 counts. Then we're going right back to the A. I like having the second finger again for the bass note there, because we have to go down to a D sharp here for the D sharp minor 7 flat 5. Only thing in the right hand that's going to change here is this E is going to step up to an F sharp. So from the A here, and that's for the last 2 counts of that measure. So we've got, it seems to me that there are more hearts broken in the world that can't be mended, left unattended. What do we... So now we've got this C sharp major 7. So I'm going to come all the way back up to this C sharp, and here's the notes for the right hand. It's kind of a surprising sound there. So we got G sharp, C, and F. Do we do? What do we do? So there's that G sharp minor 7 as we've done it. And then finally, this last part is a little bit different, though it's pretty easy. We've got this B over C sharp. So we're actually already doing a B major inversion in the right hand. We just got to come up here to a C sharp chord for 1 count. And then to get the C sharp 7, we're going to drop both the outside notes down. It's going to look like that. F, B, and C sharp. So one more time on that whole bridge. It seems to me that there are more hearts broken in the world that can't be mended, left unattended. What do we do? I'm going to slow down a little bit here. What do we do? And that would be going into the interlude. Now the interlude is exactly a verse, but it's a guitar solo. So I'm just going to play it instrumental. But just on the very last 2 measures, it does sing the alone again, naturally. That would be going into the third verse, the first half of which is the same as the other verses, but with different lyrics. Now, if we just look at the second chunk of verse, which is kind of going to wrap up the song, it's a little different. So here's the chords for that. It's the same until the second half of the second line, which is when you sing alone again, naturally. So you do the G sharp minor 7 to the C sharp moment, the same, alone again, naturally. But instead of landing on the F sharp or F sharp 6, it goes straight to this A sharp minor 7 to that same D sharp 9 that we had done. Alone again, naturally. And then it goes into the very last final, so it sings alone again naturally a second time, this time. Alone again, naturally. So you can slow down a little bit there, and then it does just land in the straight up F sharp major chord without the 6. And then the song is over. All right, thank you for sticking with me. I am now going to do a full cover so you can see how all these parts we talked about fit together in the complete composition. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also click the bell so you know when I put out more videos like this one. And leave a request in the comments. Like I said, this one was a request. And now here is my version of Alone Again, Naturally. In a little while from now, if I'm not feeling any less sour, I promise myself to treat myself and visit a nearby tower. And climbing to the top, will throw myself off in an effort to make clear to whoever what it's like when you're shattered, left standing in the lurch at a church where people saying, my God, that's tough, she stood him up. No point in us remaining, you may as well go home, as I did on my own, alone again, naturally. To think that only yesterday I was cheerful, bright and gay, looking forward to, but who wouldn't do the role I was about to play. But as if to knock me down, reality came around, and without so much as a mere touch, cut me into little pieces, leaving me to doubt. Talk about God and His mercy, who, if He really does exist, why did He desert me in my hour of need? I truly am indeed alone again, naturally. It seems to me that there are more hearts broken in the world that can't be mended, left unattended. What do we do? What do we do? Naturally. Now looking back over the years and whatever else that appears, I remember I cried when my father died, never wishing to hide the tears. And it 65 years old. My mother, God rest her soul, couldn't understand why the only man she had ever loved had been taken, leaving her to start with a heart so badly broken. Despite encouragement from me, no words were ever spoken. And when she passed away, I cried and cried all day, alone again. Naturally,